Next time you're feeling stressed out or anxious, try practicing bumblebee breath or bumblebee breathing. It's technically known as Bhramari Pranayama. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that in some way, but it's been around for generations of practice in more sort of in that line of yogic breathing. And I came across it and I thought it was a really interesting way to practice breathing to bring the focus really inward. And for me personally, it helps to quiet mental chatter. And I always like to look at evidence based practices. And I will say there's not a ton of great research on this, and that's okay. It shouldn't stop us from giving it a try and seeing if it works. But there was a actual review of the research put out by the NIH, which I thought was interesting on this particular form of breathing. And although, in their study, they realized there's just not a lot of quality research, there have been some studies that have shown this helps to decrease blood pressure, to decrease heart rate, and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the one that's responsible for our rest and digest functions that counter our fight or flight functions. And so, someone who's always interested in breathing techniques that can help people who are stressed out and anxious, I decided to give this a try and learn how to do it. And I'd like to share with you how to do it. So there are a couple of simple, different ways you can do it and some variations. So at the most basic level, you would find a quiet place. And this isn't one I'd recommend to do out in public necessarily. This is one more for like your office, if you can close the door, or at home, maybe in the car where no one else, you're not going to bug anyone else, or who knows, even if I bug my boys, it's okay with this one. But what you do is you find a quiet place where you can breathe and you sit up for this one. So either in a chair or you can sit on the floor. And close your eyes if you're comfortable, or simply look down and soften your gaze and take a few cleansing breaths. So, some slower, deeper breaths than your normal breathing rate, but nothing forced, still a gentle breath. And after you've taken a few, take a nice deep inhale and then exhale with your mouth closed, but while making a humming sound. And this is why it's called bumblebee or bee breathing. So you would inhale until you run out of air, but at a comfortable rate. So you don't want to take a big gasp afterwards. So you would repeat that 5, 6, 7 times until you feel a little more relaxed. So that's the simple version. Simply inhaling, exhaling with a closed mouth, but while making a humming sound. For a more advanced move, or a much more intense, what I've experienced, more intense version of this, you actually use your thumbs to plug your ears. So you gently push on your ears so that the sound of the hum when you exhale is greatly intensified. And this one I think is a much better version to try. But start without plugging your ears, then move to this version and see if you like it. And it's the same thing. You take a few gentle cleansing breaths. You take a deep, gentle inhale and then exhale with a closed mouth while making a humming sound, and a low humming sound, while plugging your ears with your thumbs. If you want to get even more advanced, you can plug your ears while also pressing just ever so gently on your forehead, your eyes, and across the bridge of your nose. You don't push hard, but you rest your fingertips across the center line of your face. And then one final variation, you can take that inhale and practice exhaling, making a humming noise, but instead of it being a low sound, try a different frequency. So see how a higher frequency pitch works for you, and if it affects you differently or leaves you feeling differently. But what I have found after trying this multiple times is that it clears mental chatter for me. There's something about that sound, the humming noise, where I really can't focus on anything else. My attention becomes much more inward, and the chatter gets quieted. And a lot of other people report that happening for them as well. There's something about that vibration also that happens in the humming sound that can be really comforting, particularly if you're stressed out or anxious. So give bumblebee breathing a try this week. See how it goes. See if you like it. There are all different kinds of breathing techniques that we can use to quiet our bodies, to quiet our minds, and calm ourselves down, to get relief from everyday stresses and anxiety. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming. This is one of those simple techniques that you can try for just a few minutes a day. Give it a try and see if it works for you. If you like this type of information, this content, consider signing up for Take 5. It's my newsletter where I share simple, science-based solutions for a calmer, healthier life. In the meantime, see if bumblebee breathing can help to decrease your stress and anxiety.